Students. Today I am here to discuss about the geography chapter from class 10, chapter number 1, resources and development. So when we say resources, resources are the naturally occurring substance which we find on the earth and these are readily available to use. Okay? And resources are referred to those objects which is only useful to you. And the availability of resources depends on two factors. First is the physical characteristics and second is the economic and technological conditions of the society. Then the definition of resources as given in the book goes like this. Everything available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible and culturally acceptable. So, human beings interact with the physical environment and with the help of the institutions and technology, they convert an object into a resource. Now, next we have the classification of resource. When we say classification of resource, in the CBSE NCERT book of class 10, it is referred to the division of resource as two factors, mainly natural and human. Under natural, we have renewable and non-renewable resources. So, renewable resources are those resources which can be renewed once it is used. For example, solar energy, air, wind, water, tides, running water, soil, plants. And non-renewable resources are fossil fuel, oil, coal, natural gas, metallic minerals, iron, copper, aluminium, non-metallic minerals, salt and phosphate. So this is the classification of renewable and non-renewable resources, and under human we have structures and institutions and quantity and quality. Now next, based on origin. So based on origin we have two resources. First we have biotic resource. Biotic resources are obtained from the biosphere and it have life in it. For example, autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs are the producers itself, the plants, and heterotrophs are the other living beings like human being. Then we have abiotic. Abiotic resources are those resources which are composed of non-living things, for example, soil, sunlight, water, air, temperature, inorganic nutrients, etc. Next, based on exhaustibility, we have two types of resource, renewable resource and non-renewable resource. Renewable resources are those resources which can be renewed or reproduced by physical, chemical or mechanical processes, and the example we can already have given, the solar, air, etc. Okay, these resources can be replaced within 100 years. And non-renewable resources are those resources which are once used, it cannot be renewed again. It cannot be renewed within 100 years. So they are referred to as non-renewable resources. For example, fossil fuels. Next, based on ownership, we have four classes of resource: individual, community, national, international. Individual resources are owned by individuals, okay, like private plot of lands, house, etc. Community, when a community owns the resources and these are accessible to all the members of the society or community. For example, public park, burial grounds, etc. National resources are those resources which are owned by the government, okay, and sometimes even private property, are owned by the government for some public good. These are useful for the public good. For example, railways, canals, forests, roads, etc. Urban development authorities are empowered by the government to acquire such lands. And we have to remember that those resources, an oceanic area up to 12 nautical miles, that is 22.2 kilometers from our coast, is referred to our nation's resource, that is national resource. International resources are those resources which are the international property. For example, these resources are beyond 200 nautical miles, that is beyond 22.2 kilometer from the economic zone, exclusive economic zone, and this is open in the sea. Okay, and for example, we have the fisheries in international waters, we have minerals in Antarctica. So these are the four classes of resources based on ownership. Then we have based on status of development, potential resource. Potential resource are found in a region, but yet till now we are not using it. For example, you are the present batch of class 10, correct? So you have the potential to become doctors, engineers, footballers, etc. But you have the potential. Till now, you are not. Okay. Then reserve. Reserve means here certain stocks, okay, which can be put into use with the help of our technology. Okay, that is a reserve. Then develop resource. So developed resource are surveyed how much quantity and quality they have, and then we use it for the further. Then stock. Stocks are those resources which have the potential to satisfy the human needs, but human beings do not have the technology to use it. So these are the resources based on status of development. Then comes to the very important topic, sustainable development. Now, what is sustainable development? Sustainable development is such a development where the present beings use the resources in such a way that the resources of the present can be used by the future generations also. So here you have to refer that the natural environment, society and the economy interact together for sustainable development. Okay. Next, our government, or before doing any kind of development of resource, we have to do certain kind of planning. First of all, we have to identify the resource across the regions of the country. That means first we have to do survey, then we have to do the mapping, then we have to do both qualitative and quantitative estimation and measurement of the resource. Then a plan structure have to be endowed with certain kind of technology, skillful people, and also we have to set up the institution for implementing the development work of that particular resource. Then we have to match the resource development with the present developmental plans. So this is how planning goes in India before utilizing any kind of resource. And as you can see here, India has made concerted efforts for achieving the goals of resource planning right from the first 5-year plan launched after independence. Now, resource conservation. As we all know that because of the continuous interaction of the human beings with the resource, our resources are depleting. Now it's high time to control or conserve our resources. So we have to do planned use of resources so that it do not get extinct. And our future generation can also use it. Why it is important? Because most of the resources which is found on the earth, they are non-renewable or they can be exhausted. So if we conserve it properly, we at least can use them for a longer period of time. We have to conserve resources because it helps to reduce the wastage and it is also helpful for the economic progression. We have to conserve the resource because it helps us to protect the environment also. So that is why resource conservation is very, very important. Thank you for today. Please like and subscribe my channel.